Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcast. We've got some juicy things to talk about, some dramatic things to talk about with 3.18.2, 3.19, XenoThreat, and things breaking and maybe not being the best, but it's a weird one. I'm here with the lovely Zinnia. Say hello, Zinnia.
Hello, Zinnia.
Perfect. This is off to a great start. Last time we did a podcast, I didn't introduce Zin for like 4 attempts at the intro. She was like, I don't know what to do.
I need a prompt.
So, I briefly want to say, 3.19, it's in Evocati, but that's all I can say about it. So hopefully, we're expecting towards the end of May, 3.19 and Fleet Week all to come along, starting sort of like 19th, 20th-ish. Expect that. That'll be cool. 3.18.2, Zin.
Yeah.
Surprise! That was released to live. The Cloud Imperium didn't go, it's going to be released to live in a minute, or give us any warning, really. I was expecting it this week, not last week. With that, 3.18.2 going to live. I played it briefly. Great experience. Genuinely great. I was able to log in, get to my ship, move around the verse, do a couple of missions. Bam. Did you play much or any of 3.18.2?
Oh, no.
Okay, so it was over the weekend. So Zin's been busy, like, having a life and not being, she doesn't work technically over the weekends, although I do try and make her sometimes. So yeah, 3.18.2 came out on Friday, and it was, for me, really great experience. A little bit of lag when accessing your inventories, accessing shops, trying to spawn your ships. Everything seemed to work pretty well. We're going to come to stuff not working so well in a minute, because some people are like, that's not my experience at 3.18.2, but we will come to that. There wasn't a full wipe. Zin, you know when I said there was going to be a wipe with 3.18.1 and 3.18.2?
Maybe.
No wipe for 3.18.2. Well, partial wipe for 3.18.2. Not a full wipe. So they just wiped items, and that means ships items. They were gone, but they kept and preserved merits, Alpha UEC, and Rep. Do you see a problem with that?
No.
What about if I told you that they had overtly told the community they were going to wipe it for 3.18.2 and then didn't?
Happens.
That seems fair. That is as good a comment as any. Some people were annoyed because they were just expecting a wipe and they had spent all their money, or they'd got themselves into a situation where a wipe was beneficial for them, and because they expected one, well, why wouldn't they? They'd given all their money away or something. Mm-hmm. Some people had stopped playing because they were like, well, there's no point in playing unless I've got progression for a while, at least. And some people were just annoyed that Cloud Imperium didn't do exactly what they said they were going to do.
So what exactly did Cloud Imperium say? So
Xylo said there was going to be a wipe with 3.18.1, 3.18.2, full wipes.
But where? We got a screenshot or something?
Yes. Let me find.
I want exact wording.
No. That is absolutely fine. Star Citizen now for 3.18 upcoming patches. Greetings everyone. We want to provide a quick update what to expect in the upcoming releases. Our initial goal was to avoid the need to wipe databases for upcoming patch points. However, due to the current state of Alpha 3.18's database and the numerous hotfixes we've implemented since 3.18 went live, more than 50, we've concluded that a couple of full wipes, Alpha UEC, items, and reputation will be necessary to further improve and stabilize the service. For those interested in what's going on under the hood, alongside a myriad of changes that shook up our database, we uncovered an issue with the identity service related to player IDs, which was revealed through the 40K error, 40,014, that some of you may be encountering, which you encountered earlier today. Mm-hmm. While we've resolved this issue, and many like it, we'll still require a wipe to get all our cogs and wheels back into the right place. For both Alpha 3.18.1 and 3.18.2, we will be performing these wipes alongside a hearty list of improvements and optimizations, which will hopefully make your gaming experience much smoother. Is that enough context for you?
Yes, I found the post as well.
I could have linked it to you, but, you found it by yourself. Good job. So what do you think?
I think they should have wiped, even if they didn't need to.
Because they said they were going to.
Because they said they were going to.
So the default state of Cloud Imperium is they will not wipe if they can help it. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting one. It's not that big a deal from my point of view, because I don't care that much. Obviously, for some people, it's pretty annoying. The excuse of it's alpha is still a valid excuse. And a lot of people are like, you can't keep on saying it's an alpha. Yeah, you can. It's an alpha.
Because it's still an alpha.
It's still an alpha. I mean, people might get annoyed that that's a catch-all excuse for a lot of stuff, but it's because it works for an excuse for a lot of stuff, unfortunately. Although it's also a live product that Cloud Imperium do market as being really more than an alpha. So you can argue that these points, and I think that's sort of fair too, if you wish to. My opinion is, not that big a deal. Should have Cloud Imperium have wiped it or not? I mean, they probably should have wiped it, even if they didn't have to, because they said they were going to, or at least gone, oh, we're not going to have to wipe now.
Yeah.
As a make a little bit of a deal of it before just doing it.
So that post was 2 weeks before 3.18.2 went live.
Yep, and we only knew there was no wipe when the patch was released.
Yeah. So again, lack of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when are they going to learn not to use wording that is definitive?
Well, that's the problem as well. They should be able to. They should be able to say that.
But then they should also follow it up.
Yeah. I mean, for me, covering Star Citizen for years, I always take everything they say as when they say we're going to do this, it's that they mean we're probably going to do this. The plan is that we do this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But if you're not used to that, or how they work, them saying, oh yes, we're going to wipe everything, they should have said it, we think we'll probably have to wipe everything.
Yeah.
But that might not happen.
Yeah, I mean, they did say as well, later on a follow-up, we might have to do more wipes after this patch as well, like immediately, for like 3.19 and stuff. And hopefully that's not the case anymore. Hopefully they can keep stuff running and going. So it was an interesting bit of drama. Obviously, lots of people have very different points of view. It's a good thing that they didn't need to wipe for the most part. And if they had said that a little bit earlier and they had gone, we don't have to wipe, woo! That would have actually made a lot of people happier than just sort of suddenly doing it after saying the opposite. You know what I mean? It's just confusing messaging. 3.18.2, although its release, I think, was pretty good. 3.18.2's worked really well. They then almost immediately afterwards, so a few hours later, ran XenoThreats in.
Oh, God.
Now, the problem with that is that the delays for accessing your ships and your inventories and all that sort of jazz, and for requesting landings, that was hugely compounded as an issue with all the stuff going on and persistent entity streaming and a million ships fighting. That's a bit of an exaggeration, and loads of sort of salvage sites appearing and a load of people in vultures flying around trying to do stuff. So Zin and I tried to play this morning. Zin couldn't get on. She was getting a 40k error.
Mm-hmm.
Not the good Warhammer kind, but the kind where you can't get onto the game. I was attempting to play some XenoThreat, both over the weekend and this morning, and I get into the server fine. Bit of lag when trying to access things, but the XenoThreat event doesn't seem to run properly. It will not continue after a certain point, or ships just stop spawning, and it's sort of the servers pause, but not fully. It's not crashed. There just seems to be a huge amount of lag and desync with XenoThreat running at the moment. And I was in multiple servers, one with 70 people, one with 100 people, one with 120 people. At least that's what it appeared to be, and all had the same problems. I'm not sure what would happen if I was on an entirely fresh server. Maybe it would complete. And I've had mixed reports of a lot of people not being able to do XenoThreat at all, not being able to even spawn their ships, that sort of stuff, because it's just so laggy, or getting to XenoThreat, it not continuing, and having various problems with XenoThreat and their inventories and stuff like that. But some people, most of them still had lag to an extent with something, but were able to get through XenoThreat, just experiencing a few random problems. Is it better than 3.18's initial launch? Yes, because you can play. It might be buggy, it might be broken, but it's still a lot better than 3.18's initial release was. It just seems a shame that 3.18.2 seemed to be in a relatively good state. Then they ran XenoThreat and everything imploded. So what do you think, Sin? Do you think that it was still a good idea for them to run XenoThreat on the live servers because they could get some testing data? Or do you think that testing data should be kept on the PTU?
I think testing on the live, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As long as you're happy for your main player base is going to be experiencing or can be experiencing issues.
I think a lot of people now want the live build to be stable.
Yeah.
They've got it into a point where it's been stable previously, and people want it to be just as stable or better. And when you have accessibility problems to the scale that we've had over the last 4 months, shall we say, it's not a great look. And people were like, great, XenoThreat's going to be running. It's one of the best events, and it's got all this 3.18 point stuff. And they've been fixing all this stuff with 3.18.1 and 3.18.2. And, it's running, and it's super broken again.
Mm-hmm.
And XenoThreat appears to be running until the 2nd of May.
Didn't they do a test of XenoThreat on one of the PTUs, like during 3.18.1 or something like that?
Yes, so they've been testing it a little bit. Jumptown 2.1 and XenoThreat with mixed success. Although I would say that XenoThreat on the test that I did on the PTU did seem to work a lot better than it did on the live build, because it actually progressed to the fleet stage. It is a problem. Now, I'd say, because I've seen a lot of content creators going, why are they running XenoThreat at all? They should keep that on the PTU. Let us actually play a stable version of Star Citizen, and 3.18.2 looked like it was going to be relatively stable, and then you just ran an event and sort of broke it. Why do that? Well, it's because, in my opinion anyway, Cloud Imperium are trying to get everything ready for 3.19 and Fleet Week. Fleet Week is huge for them. It's where they get a huge amount of eyes on Star Citizen. It's where a lot of people want to be playing, and the game needs to be in a playable state for them to make the amount of money they want to by drawing in new accounts, and for people to have confidence in Star Citizen to buy more ships. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. However, I also agree, like, maybe get 3.18.2 out there, run it for a day or two, check that everything's fine, like, sort out any issues, like little issues that people are having, then do XenoThreat.
Yeah, give us a week. Give us a week with 3.18.2.
Well, not even a week, just like a couple of days.
Okay.
More than a couple of hours.
Yeah, more than a few hours. No, I think that's fair, Zin. I think that's fair what you said. It just, the desync is just so egregious, and the fact that XenoThreat only occasionally works properly.
Also, at the moment, when there is no PTU, people just can't play PTU or live, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point as well. So, for the people that would have been happy to test XenoThreat even in a buggy form, typically they could have gone to the PTU to do that. Yeah, you want your live build to be as stable as possible, especially now when it's previously been stable, when you've got a relatively big player base now playing Star Citizen and expecting they're paying for not just development as a service now, but they're also paying for a live game service. And they've already paid for a live game service by purchasing the game and purchasing their ships. At least that's what a lot of people will see it as. Yes, it is an alpha. Yes, it's still being developed. Yes, some of the stuff needs to be tested on the live servers, because 3.18 was working relatively well, or at least working on the PTU, and when they put it on the live servers, everything broke. So they do need to test these things on the live servers to see if everything breaks. But maybe there needs to be another stage of testing, or rollbacks, or just, as you said, a couple of days of, let's make sure this build's totally working, and then turn on the dynamic event.
I definitely think rollbacks are a good idea.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to roll back if something's broken.
Yep.
And I think they've done it before with hot fixes.
They certainly have done it with hot fixes. They've certainly done it with lots of PTU builds. They do occasionally do it in live, as far as I remember, vaguely recall. I do think that messaging about the wipe and just the problems with XenoThreat, it's just a bit annoying. So a lot of people are just going, turn off XenoThreat, turn off XenoThreat. A lot of content creators. I saw Morphologist and Salty Mike, some content creators that I love very much, and they're good mates. They are very much on the, we can't play, please just turn off XenoThreat. Do you think that the Cloud Imperium might want to consider that, turning XenoThreat off today if it's not really working as intended?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But heaven forbid they go against what they said.
Yeah, so this is the thing, isn't it? They damned if they do and they damned if they don't. But I mean, in this situation, I very much think that they should consider just turning off XenoThreat and running it again later. Or unless maybe it genuinely is providing a huge amount of important test data. And if that's the case, tell us. Just give us a bit of communication, CIG. Something they're very good at communicating at, those in, is the ship sale. There is a ship sale on at the moment for XenoThreat, which is, I think, one of the things they wanted to do before Fleet Week. They wanted to run XenoThreat to have that ship sale, because they hadn't really done anything ship sale wise.
And haven't made much money.
Well, no, they haven't been running a ship sale yet, and it's part of their marketing. They wanted 3.18 to release. They wanted to both to run Jumptown 2.1 or XenoThreat and have a little bit of a ship sale, and that generates them a good few $1 million. And they just haven't been able to do that. So they wanted to push XenoThreat out to the live build, in my opinion, to get that ship sale in before Fleet Week, because otherwise it just feels like, we sort of messed up and we couldn't have one of the big sales pushes that we normally have. And it is part of that monetization beast that is Star Citizen, unfortunately. That the marketing has, again, at least in my opinion, affected the way they release parts of the game. And maybe, if they didn't want to have a ship sale, like even a little mini one with XenoThreat, they might not have pushed XenoThreat out the door. Do you think that's fair to say, or do you think that I'm just assuming a lot of stuff there?
Quite probably. Yeah, you're probably right with that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think they've got quite a refined marketing team now that you can see that when they release a major patch and when they do these dynamic events, they very much want to package them with smaller ship sales. And I do think that's a big thing for CIG for raising funds. But it's just a shame. I love XenoThreat. It's just a shame I can't enjoy it in the way that I want with all the new 3.18 gubbins.
It's just a shame I can't even get into game.
Yeah, and if they had it on the PTU, you probably would be able to.
Yeah.
You'd be able to get on the PTU or the live build. But Zin is not able to get on with either her main accounts. She's not able to get into the live build because of the 40k error. But with ship sale on the moment, if you are so inclined, because I do think they're going to get this all fixed, and I do think 3.19 is going to be a pretty solid release. They might do a 3.18.3 potentially, but 3.18.2 without XenoThreat and maybe a hotfix in the short term will probably be pretty solid. But ship sales wise, you've got all the Ares, Ion and the Inferno, you've got the Avenger Titan, you've got the Buccaneer, you've got the Corsair, you've got the Eclipse, you've got the Gladiator, you've got the Gladius, you've got the Hammerhead, big old ship, the Hurricane. We need to go fly around in the Hurricane at some point soon because they've got that massive gun turret, which is quite fun.
Mm.
Got the Redeemer, and the Retaliator bomber, as well as the Scorpius and its variant, the Antares. So lots of combat ships for the XenoThreat experience, but as I said, at the moment, that XenoThreat experience is desyncy and laggy at best, and at worst, just not playable or advancing when you try and get it. So it'll be interesting to see what Cloud Imperium do. I'm interested to know your thoughts on that, and what your experiences of 3.18.2 and the XenoThreat playtest. Unless it's not a playtest, XenoThreat on the live build, which I unreasonably equate to a playtest. What's it been like for you? And Zin and I will continue to play once there's more hotfixes and stuff in. I do want to start getting a load more Star Citizen gameplay on the go. Zin and I want to do like medical rescue gameplay and just play through all of the missions and sort of experience Star Citizen, what it has to offer in a stable build. And that might be, as I said, with 3.18.2 and XenoThreat turned off, but it might be we're having to wait to 3.19. Do you think they're about to get everything sorted for 3.19 and Fleet Week? Or do you think there might be, again, major explosions? You're pretty good with this Oracle stuff, Sin.
I think they'll probably have a 3.19 for Fleet Week. However, I think I'll still have a 40k error.
Oh, don't say that. So yeah, briefly on this, and before we go, a lot of people are annoyed that they can't reset their characters at the moment. So to reset your character now, you have to email customer support, customer service, and go, I need my account reset for this reason. So they disabled the reset tool because it was putting a load of strain on characters, on the servers, because it like destroys your character and rebuilds it. And they're going to be putting out a repair tool. It's a lot lighter weight on the server, doesn't destroy your characters, just sort of resets bits of it. But they haven't released that tool properly. So at the moment, we're not able to reset and fix an error that potentially is very easy to fix just with a reset, because we'd have to email Cloud Imperium and it might take a few days, and it's annoying. What was that thread you were reading earlier with the 6,000 people wanting their accounts reset?
It's the issue council.
On the issue council. Yeah, so Zinna found a thread basically saying, why doesn't Cloud Imperium just reset all the accounts that are affected? Well, as Zin was saying to me, it would be better for them just to solve the issue, find the problem, solve the issue, and I think give the players the ability to solve it themselves where possible again. So they need to push that repair tool out. I'm sort of curious what people think in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Zin.
Yes.
Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. Tell us your experiences, 3.18.2 and XenoThreat, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully 3.18 we'll get good again. Little Nord Riding Hood was on her way to Grandma's house. Upon arriving at her house, she called, Grandma, are you home? Yes, dear. I'm on my laptop in bed. Upon seeing her grandma, she exclaimed, Oh, Grandma, what long fingers you have. Oh, the better to browse the internet, my dear. Oh, Grandma, what powerful VPN protection you have. Oh, the better to browse safely, my dear. Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have. Oh, the better to enjoy my greater access to the sites I want to visit, my dear. But seriously, get NordVPN or I will eat you. The moral of this story is that there are some great deals on NordVPN. and using it can improve your internet privacy, safety, and give you more access to the content you want to see. Get it from the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway for April 2023. It's for a Drake Vulture, the light salvage ship. This will enable you to take to the stars, find wrecks and strip them, as well as craft some useful items with its onboard dispensary. It comes with lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package as well. All you need to get into the game, and all you have to do to be in for a chance of winning that, is comment on any of my videos made during April. Also, please bear in mind that there are scammers about in YouTube. If you see in the comments below someone trying to get you to go onto Telegram, or someone not using my main account, which is the account I'm making videos on now, then they are a scammer pretending to be me or someone else, and just be safe on YouTubes. If you would like to further support the channel, please consider subscribing. You can become a Patreon, you can use the YouTube join button as well. That goes an extra mile to help support us and enables us to produce Star Citizen content every day. And that's down to you guys helping support us, so genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my little BoredGamer heart.